to another Sunday session.
Okay, great. Thank you.
How are you, Neville?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Grace.
Good to see you here.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here too.
Is it? It's stunning today.
So yes, what? Sorry, what was that?
Stunning.
Stunning. Oh, stunning. Right.
Stunning and sunny day.
Yeah, great.
Oh, everyone's coming all at once. Let me just let everyone in. Okay. So, who's game enough to put the camera on? Say hello.
Where's the camera? Right. Recording, Grace.
There's Tanya.
Where's the camera?
My hair is kind of everywhere right now.
I think we pressed it wrong.
I've given up on my hair. It does whatever it wants. Some days look better than others. Come on, mine do its own way.
It does, doesn't it? Fiona looks like she's driving as usual.
Your phone. Because you're using the phone.
Wow, look at Fiona's view. Amazing. Where are you, Fiona? Hello, Darren. Glad that you joined us, Darren. Looks like you're driving a truck.
Look at that padded ceiling.
I know, right? We can't hear you, Fiona. We can see your mouth moving. Ah, much better. Where are you?
We're out at Calgarin, about, 3.5 hours from Perth, east of Perth, and we're driving in the bush. Check this out for a view. Flowers everywhere.
Is that the ocean? Is that the ocean? Can I see the ocean there as well?
No, that's the sky.
Oh!
Blue. Looks like the ocean.
Oh.
Loaded with gravel.
Hang on, let me fix it.
No.
That is beautiful.
There you go.
Wow. Well, it's good to have you while you're trucking away.
What we do on a Sunday morning. I'm supervising Darren's truck.
Welcome to Fiona's life. She has an interesting life, this woman. Oh, is that hello, Warren?
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, darling Warren?
God, that gets me nervous. I'm well.
You look wonderful, Warren.
Hope you're not cracking on to me, Grace.
This makes me even more nervous.
I know. Well, we were married once.
I was going to say, Grace, I've been there, done that. So
I know, honey. You look so beautiful, honey. Very handsome.
Yeah. There's some holes one is best not to venture back into again, isn't there, Grace?
Well, once you've dived in, you stayed there, didn't you?
Yeah, well, that's why I outsourced you, didn't I?
Outsourced.
We try and trash talk each other really badly, if you haven't noticed yet.
Oh, no, I say beautiful things to you, Warren. You trash me, but I say beautiful things to you, uplifting.
Ah, so you've moved back into that illusion, have you? You've renounced Martini.
Look, you planted 4 beautiful seeds in me, and they're growing wonderfully.
Well, you're a fertile garden, and there you go.
Very fertile, very, very fertile. I had all the precautions, but they still came. So
know.
Warren, you're lethal. So ladies, if you decide to join his current, just watch it, okay? He plants seeds like anything.
Deary me. God, I feel I'm going to start going to the Catholic.
I'm in a very
church
good
after
mood,
this.
actually.
Oh dear.
Well, actually, we should be able to get, I don't know whether it's true or not, but people are advertising about how much money you can get for unvaccinated sperm. So if you're highly fertile, unvaccinated, it'd be worth a fortune.
I am an asset.
Add to your wealth streams.
I'm like a rare stab. I just gotta, as I hang in there and more people get vaccinated and die off, in 5 years I'll be a rare $1 billion asset. That's right,
Yes.
Tanya.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I could sell my sperm like for how much? I don't know, $1 million of sperm. Or, I don't know, 10 million.
It's so ridiculous. I don't know if they actually sell it here normally. If you have to pay for it, but in the US, people sell it, don't they? And so I've seen a couple of times going, "Is this for real?" You know. But anyway, I'm sure it will be.
Well, we're about multiplying, aren't we? Multiplying the wonderful seeds, aren't we?
Well, you know that the world is fucked up when you have a situation like 5 days ago where a guy got fired from his real estate agency, Grace, and you know why? Because he wrote on his Facebook page, anyone know I can buy Australian-made imports rather than cheap Chinese, Australian-made rather than cheap Chinese imports, and he was fired for being racist.
What?
Cool.
He was fired for being racist. Serious.
You know who's in charge when you know who you can't criticize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Only.
exactly.
But then again, you know,
Yeah.
the universe is our playground, isn't it? We make our rules.
Well, I think that we're living in a Borat movie, and I think the sign of that is Sacha Baron Cohen. Now she's moved to Perth, Grace. You know that, don't you?
Yes?
Yeah. So Perth's kind of now the new centre of Borat in Australia and in the world.
Well, Perth is the most isolated city, so it's going to be amazing in the Great Reset. Perth is destined for a wonderful future.
I couldn't agree with you more on that one.
So those who aren't in Perth, move over here, guys.
Perth. I didn't like it. It's too hot.
Oh, Tanya.
It's huge.
Where do you live, Tanya? Where do you live?
I'm in Tassie now. I was in Queen's Rocks so
Oh,
many.
Tassie. That's the Ice Age. Tassie hasn't even caught up yet to the rest of the world. It's not even part of Australia.
No, I know. That's why I have to remind you during the clearings that, hey, don't forget Tassie, because everyone forgets it.
Yeah, well, because Tassie's a prison colony that still belongs in the Ice Age. That's right.
It's really interesting here. It's definitely different over here. I think it's changing because more and more people are, escaping from the mainland. But but actually where we live, evidently it's like the same latitude, obviously south, not north, as the Mediterranean. So it's actually where it's actually like rarely gets below zero, rarely gets above 30. It's awesome.
Oh, well,
The funny thing was when I moved here, when I moved down from the mountains, like I was in a real hurry, like I sold my house, quick, got to buy another one, somewhere to live, just buy a cheap place somewhere to live. And the lady never even pointed out, same as when I was in the mountains, she never even pointed out the ocean view that I have from like the kitchen, the dining and the lounge room. Like in Perth, you'd pay squillions for that. And for years I was like, man, I really want an ocean view. Didn't even think of it here and I got one.
There you go.
It's amazing, yeah.
wonderful. Chris, make it happen. You're a creator. Make it happen.
Make it happen. Absolutely. I mean, when I was in Perth, things were really, really bad. And I'm usually very good at creative thinking and, come up with this out of the box solution or weird ass. Couldn't figure it out. And I was like, you know what? Why am I trying to fight so hard to stay in a place that I don't like? Let's just go where I want to go. And, I lived in the mountains for 3 years, was, surrounded by, the echidnas and wallabies and deer and wombats. And it was just amazing. And it snowed up there. That's why I went up. I was like, we can live in the snow. It was exciting.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want an example of being creative for Chris, you talk to Neville. And Neville's on here now. He and Lorraine have a situation where they wanted to get out of a place and they created it. And I'm like, how did you do that? And they told me. So it can be done, can't it, Neville?
Yes, yeah, that's for sure. I had
It's not from the black cube.
I'm sovereign warrior.
Sovereign warrior. Yeah, Lorraine's a sovereign warrior. So she, I just had to point her in the right direction.
There you go.
A lot of it is just forgetting, not listening to everyone else who says you can't do this and all the reasons why you can't, you have to do this. You say, you know what, I'll do what I want. You know?
Yeah. It's like for those who are Jesus the badass I taught the other day, it's like the sons and daughters of God are free. The rules that apply to everyone else don't apply to us. That's what you just always remember. The rules that apply to everyone else don't apply to us. And that's how I live my life.
Yeah. Very true.
I have to have rules in place to keep the plebs and the masses in place, because most of them would destroy the planet if they didn't. But for the sons and daughters of God, absolutely different world. Isn't it, William?
Yeah, very different.
Isn't
William-
that right, Tanya and Holly?
Sorry, I'm just looking. I got distracted by Christine. What did you say?
I said that it's different rules for the sons and daughters of God, isn't it, Tanya?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, William's just sharing something with me, and he's found something wonderful in the Book of Enoch. Are you going to share that this morning, William?
Well, yeah, just learning it, gathering the information I'm going to be sharing with it.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
fantastic.
Well,
isn't it?
today I'm talking about J Seals and mind control implant. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the black cube is very appropriate since it does relate to them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So, yeah.
Looking
Oh,
forward
yeah,
to
me
that.
too.
So he's he was looking into the Book of Enoch about the black cube. So that's part of his message today.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important to understand this, everyone. Until I understood this, I couldn't understand why certain things happened. And once you learn to move above the black cube and clear out the mind control implants, I mean, clearing them out is a whole different thing in saying that. But understanding how they work, it's a really good thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And also knowing what to do with it and how to deal with it. And it's imperative that, you know the process and the steps, because it can really unravel you. And but again, we're here to open up our potentialities. We're here to open up our universes upon universe. We're not restricted at all. We're here to manifest and open up each and everyone's mind. Again, when you look at God, it's an open-ended being. You cannot put him or her on the box, or actually both. It's androgynous, isn't it? And so it's time. It's really time to open up our minds, open up our subconscious, our conscious, bring it to our conscious state, so that we can figure out what we want to create.
Well, like I can remember 3 years ago, after my experience at the Council of Nine, I think about 8 months, I had about 400 mind control implants cleared out of me. It was just, that was when I was like, whoa, and William and I still to this day, when we do clearings on each other, there was a time, not so much anymore, but we would see these little devices in there and we'd have to get them out of each other. So they're very clever how they do it. I remember when I was learning about the CIA psychic assassins and how they do it. And I actually met a guy at a seminar in Sydney who was actually telling me, he said, oh, yeah, he said, I know how to do that. And he said, really? And he actually said, yeah. He said, I had someone who was rude to me at an event and upset me. So I put an implant into their head that would give them a migraine. And within 1 minute, they went running up the room saying they had a migraine. So, yeah, these things are really real.
Yeah, let's move from the Matrix, shall we? It's a virtual game. This is a huge virtual game. And in the Book of Enoch, it says that, we all know this, isn't it? It's a biochemical planet. And so how do we overcome that?
Write it on your notes, Book of Enoch.
Yes, well, I think I balanced it out after having a very busy week yesterday. I thought, how can I watch four-hour baseball games in one day, because they had the playoffs, and I pulled it off. I had to organise and I had to fast forward ads, and I actually pulled it off. I watched all 4 games in one day while still getting and while still going out and having lunch and everything else.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the beauty, isn't it? It's not restricted to wherever. Not like the virus, it's restricted to certain places.
I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch a minute of the game. It was quite. I thought, I want to be 3D today. I'm feeling tired, So, and I want to watch every minute. I don't want to miss a single minute of any of the games. But how do I do this? Like, and not lose my whole day. And I worked it out. I just fast forwarded. I actually calculated the whole thing out. So,
well, I did a 3D too yesterday, Warren, and you're going to love it.
oh no, what did you do?
I think it's been over a year now. I haven't caught up on my K-drama. So
Your what?
K-drama.
Kardashians. Is that Kardashians?
No, it's Korean drama.
Oh, okay.
It's all about love triangles. It's all about girly chick flick, and he wants her, but she wants the other guy, and the other guy doesn't want. And it's all this beautiful love.
Is that a TV show? Is that a TV show?
It's called K-drama. You know how you have K-pop? This one's K-drama. They're brilliant narratives. Such a good storyline for love triangles.
That's priceless.
Ladies, those who want to come into really feminine energy, it's a great show to actually discern when you're moving in the feminine and how feminine works and how the masculine works. If you can get past through the 3D part, but actually see the energy, it's a fantastic way to learn how masculine and feminine works together. It's amazing. And K-drama, they're really great at script writing in terms of masculine and feminine. So those ladies who are moving in the masculine for years, it's a great way to relax in how the feminine works. Warren used to love it. Warren used to watch, what's that show, Warren? What's that show? With my mum. We used to watch it with mum every afternoon with Remy.
Oh, Bold and the Beautiful. No.
Yeah.
No.
Warren used to love Bold and Beautiful, guys. He used to watch it.
No. I deny, I dispute. And I do not, I'm going to bring the lawyer out in me. I deny, I dispute. And
let's go home, honey. It's Bold and Beautiful.
Do you have any evidence? Do you have any evidence of this? No, you do not. Innocent until proven guilty, Grace.
Oh, Sharon says it sounds like vomit.
Oh, look, I'm not even going to go there. This is a traumatic discussion for me.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Look, the idea is we can play whatever characters we want, isn't it? Once you overcome the ego, we're here to master every area of our life. So once you master your ego, you can play whatever character you want to play. So, and depending on, what your purpose, what you want in this life, you can really play what you want to do. And once you master it and discerning when you're moving in ego and spirit, you can do whatever you like.
Well, the thing is, when you think about it, we spent a lot of time withdrawing from the world, being hermits. I didn't even watch TV for years or anything. And then eventually thought, well, we're living in a big matrix illusion. I may as well play the game while doing my work. And since I've done that, I've actually enjoyed life quite a lot. Just played the game.
That's right, Susan. It is the world. The world is a stage, and how you become that character. Goodness me, guys, we limit ourselves so much. We limit ourselves because the biggest inhibitor is morality. Morality is such a killer. Obviously, we don't harm anyone, intently harm or kill anyone in that sense. But morality is such an inhibitor and stricter in your growth, in your spiritual growth. So I really encourage everyone to dive into the subconscious. We hear it from Joe Dispenza about rewiring and Greg Braden and all these guys and ladies out there. Why don't we just put it into practice, really put it into practice, create what you want to create how you want your universe to be. And bring, the vision you have, bring it into matter, because we require the matter to manifest it. It's like, for those gamers, if you are a gamer, you create the avatar and you utilizing the avatar to really propel you to move this. So let's really move together in this matrix. And for those of you who live in Perth, I'd love to catch up for lunch with you guys. So Neville, you're in Perth. So if you're in Perth, you know,
No, he's not.
No,
Oh,
we're just a little. Yeah, we're just over in Noosa in Queensland.
Oh, Noosa. Oh, I love Noosa.
It's about 2 weeks walking, I think. Across. 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah, a bit longer than 2 weeks.
That's not far, Neville. That's not far. You'll get there eventually.
Hey, just astral travel, Neville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we've been-
Translocation, was it?
Transmutation.
yeah, you know, seriously, guys, this is our playground. This universe is our playground. Let's have fun, you know. Let's have fun in this playground. Let's not get caught up in the matrix and the attachments of this life. It's a playground that we're here to play, and how we want it to be. Isn't it much easier? Like, I love the fact that Warren, you know, has created that Dr. Bill. How insane is
I had so much demand for that. When I stopped doing that, I was having people saying, you got to bring him back. So I have so many happy people. So in the end, I thought I'll give him his own group and ditch that Warren, who's a bit of a, you know, clock blocker for Dr. Bill. So now he's got his own group. Yeah, I love Dr. Bill. I mean, that's one of my favourites.
Yeah. You got to have a sense of humour. We're such a funny species, really.
Oh, it's like the newest. I heard a new expression, Grace, last night. James and I watched a movie, and there's a new. I'd never heard of this one. It's called twat blocker. Have you heard of a twat blocker?
Heard of a twat blocker?
No, it's basically like a cock blocker. Of course, is a girl who blocks you from a friend, but a twat blocker is where you, as a guy, have a female friend who tries to block you from getting other girls. It's called a twat blocker. I just learned about that last night.
What? It's a female friend blocking you.
Yeah, so it's like if I had a female friend who secretly had a semi-interest or wanted to keep me to herself as a friend, so she blocks me from picking up other girls. So it's called a twat blocker. I just found this out last night.
So like me, I can be a twat blocker for you.
Yeah, you can be my twat blocker. Yeah, you can be a twat blocker, yeah.
I just want to keep you all to myself, Warren.
Oh, God.
Stuff all your harems.
No, I'll outsource you. I'm just going to outsource you. I'll find you really good lover, okay? Some guy called Boris, who's a really big guy and, you know, will treat you well. And by the way, this is a new breed of church, everyone.
Look, it's been such an intense few weeks, hasn't it? It's been an intense astral. It's been an intense evening.
It's been ridiculous, the astral realm. I felt like a bomb hit me last night and this morning.
Yep.
Oh.
Actually, I was like, no, I'm not coming on today. I'm not up for it.
And here you are, Tanya.
I saw the subject. I went, I have to go on.
Oh, look, whenever you do a big subject like this, though, you do often get resistances. And I think because we're moving to that next level, yesterday I was talking to people about how we're going to start getting our physical meetings and get together. And ever since we had that conversation, I felt like, whoa, a whole next level. And that just tells me we're on the right track. So it's like,
absolutely,
we get a strong church or awakened spiritual community centre that's got warfare as well. I mean, it's a real threat to what's going on. You know, it can actually get the city wakened up and get the light back into the city, and that's not particularly something that the ascension blockers want to happen. So
yeah. Well, the reality is, like, if you look at the cell, for example, you know, the cells, one cell, another two comes together, and really that's what we're doing here. We're refining to be like-minded, all of us speaking the same language. So it's not about Warren constantly sharing, but it's all about us together and really merging as one. And so, you know, we're gonna have a lot of challenges. We're gonna have people coming in that doesn't resonate or whatever, because there's lots of other groups, but if we are here together, we might as well, you know, merge together and be like-minded. on one heart and one mind, so we can move as one. Just like the cells, you know, you start with one cell and then you multiply. When you think about it, there's trillions and trillions of cells in each one of us here. So when you equate that, equal it to all of us, you know, we all know that our emotional stuff gets stored up in our cells. And so when we release all those emotional trauma, depression, anger, all sorts of stuff, as each one of us releases that from one another, you know, we can merge together. And how much damage and how much impact can we create in our society without even creating a rally, without creating a physical facing the government or anything? We are our own government. So I encourage each one here to really, really stand on your own sovereignty. And sovereignty is creating that spiritual and moving and shifting all the emotional baggages that you have. And we've got one another to do that. And so it's each one of us shifts, then it shifts, you know, it shifts the whole group, really. So I know Warren and I do it. We do it every day. We constantly work on ourselves, so that if we work on ourselves, it will have that ripple effect, isn't it? So really gathering together, and because the point is, we still got to communicate. We can't telepathically do it yet.
Well, if you think about it, though, Grace, like when I was like a teenager in my 20s, I mean, you and I both had a lot of problems, you know, from our upbringing, our childhood. We're very lost. And I mean, it was actually getting involved in a really awakened, really high caliber church that actually challenged us to shift our shadows and introduced us to mind control implants and introduced us to spiritual warfare and cleansing of the Holy Spirit. And I mean, we experienced such change. And that was the one thing that actually got me moving, got me on my path, was being part of a good work. And this is what James, Ned and I were talking about. Like James, they were saying like, gosh, you know, they said, we would love to be involved in a really good like youth kind of church or work, but what we see out there is stupid. And I said, exactly. So that's why they said, we've got to create this now. So they were the ones who've been pushing me the last 2 weeks. And then there was a Penny who's on here today. Her daughter, Lani's really keen as well. So I think there's a lot of people who are craving connection. And that's why they go to nightclubs, they get drunk, they do this, they do that. And people are craving connection. And the one big benefit of all these lockdowns and coercion is that all the outward distractions that have kept people away from dealing with their deepest needs, their abandonment fears, their craving for connection, by escaping it through addictions, through drugs, through everyone else, they're forced to actually get back to source. And I remember Dwight Moody, an evangelist, once said, you get me someone, and if I can silence them for 5 minutes in their mind, they'll always come back to God.
Yeah.
Because he said everyone deep down is craving it and they're always running.
Yeah, and what is really connection? Connection is about intimacy and being transparent with one another, isn't it? And in that transparency, we really, really accept each other's faults and all, and our good looks and everything else. We don't envy the other one, or we don't elevate. I don't put Tanya up above me and I put myself in the pit. You know, we see each other's genius, because we all are genius in our own way. I certainly am a genius in technology. But you know, it's all about that, isn't it? The connection is really deep, meaningful conversation, a deep seeing each other's warts and all. And I certainly do that. I mean, my 2 boys that live with me, they ran off. William couldn't handle me yesterday because of my K-drama, and that's okay too, because it's something that I enjoy, but he hates it, and we both accept our likes, you know. And really, we've got to be real with one another, totally real, to have that connection. Because it's great to say we can connect, we can do surface talk, but it's so empty, isn't it? It's so empty having surface talk. Let's just get deep, get down and deep, and whatever triggers us, allow it to come up. It's a fantastic way to know that you're alive. You're really alive. It's like if Tanya pisses me off, then I'm like, oh, this is really good, because it means I'm alive. All the electrical currents go through my body, And then it brings me to myself in seeing my shadows. Where does that mean? Why am I reacting towards Tanya? Why is she triggering me? Because it's not about Tanya. It's about, I mean, my universe. It's about what's going on. And obviously she's highlighted something in me to move me to the next level, to challenge me to keep expanding and growing. And so we don't avoid that. We're not here to avoid our shadows. We're not here to avoid our, our dark sides, and we're here to really face it, face the fear or whatever we're scared at. We're here to face it, and we've got one another to encourage. Actually, we don't have to say anything, do we? Sometimes we just pick up the vibe from the other person, don't we? I certainly do that with Warren. It's like, why is Warren still in my life? Obviously, I did something to him in my past lives.
Yeah, exactly. You stuck with me. Sorry, couldn't get rid of me.
You're a honey, Warren. That's why I don't want to leave you. He is so gorgeous, isn't he, Ollie? For those of you who know Warren, he's actually a sweetheart. He's such a softie. He thinks he's a tough, but he's a softie. He's a marshmallow.
I really am deep down. I just know.
And it's interesting, the soft ones, the really sensitive ones, comes out with a knife, with a sharp sword. So just be aware when someone sticks the sword out, because they're just extremely sensitive and not knowing how to handle perhaps they don't know how to manage the anger. Perhaps they don't know how to manage this eruptive volcano because they've been programmed to be good girls and good boys and that you don't hurt anyone. Yeah.
I'm handling, I've got a relationship like that in my life right now, trying to dodge those swords.
Yeah, you look like a good girl, Holly. You've been a good
I am a good girl. I've just got another good girl that's trying to get manipulated, and it's really it's tough.
So where are you manipulating others?
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I'm trying to be aware of in when I do talk with her. I'm constantly like reflect on how I'm doing that. And so yeah, just since the start of Rona, like I've been much more social than usual. So I'm having a lot more interactions with people. And when I am talking with people, I'm like, I'm constantly going, am I doing what I'm accusing them of? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And so I just keep bringing it back, like all the time.
Yeah, simple question is, where's that in me? Emotionally, mentally, and how much are you doing it to yourself even? Because you first look at, you do that so much to yourself. You manipulate yourself. You manipulate yourself to be a good girl and to run the program that you've been given. Yeah. That's been fed in your mind.
A good, sweet little Holly. He's just a good girl who everyone loves. He's so lovely, so nice.
Yeah, she is sweet, isn't she? Look how sweet Holly is.
She would just never hurt you. She'd always be diplomatic. She'd be kind. Oh,
look at that smile. That smile alone.
I know. I mean, how could you resist that smile?
She's never nasty.
No one was ever present with me in the truck cabs when I used to scream my face off at people.
Oh, there's no evidence of that, Holly. I just see a sweet girl.
It's a good cover, that's right. Manipulating myself to do them.
And the only thing is we create a time bomb in ourselves, don't we? Suppressing all those stuff, pushing it down, push. Imagine trying to push the lava down into the volcano or holding back the tsunami.
Do you know, Grace, they did this study in the Sunday Times in WA about 10 years ago, I remember reading. And what they did, it was actually a sexologist who did a study, and they were trying to see whether people who are naturally quite, sexually active compared to people who are more repressed religious people. And they pretty much found that the more repressed religious people, once they had sex, were absolutely wild, bad, just like completely like let rip, whereas the ones who appeared to be sexual, quite the opposite. They were actually quite cool. They tended to kind of look like they wanted sex, but didn't really half the time. So they did this survey, and they pretty much concluded that those who repress it, whereas those who express it don't need it as much, whereas those who repress it, just like a time bomb.
Well, we know a particular lady. She was married once. We know her very well. Remember, Warren? And now she's become a prostitute. And she was a youth leader in the church. She was a goody-goody lady with, a goody-goody wife and all that. And all of a sudden, she's like, what? She just broke out. And
Really broke
having
out.
a church.
She wants to. She's actually doing it because she wants to, not because she's.
No, she wants to because.
Wow.
Because again, what you resist persists, and the more you resist, it creates an avalanche internally. And so she was suppressing her sexuality, feeling guilty, even looking at a man because she was married, and plus she was the youth leader. She had a big role in the church, so you weren't allowed to do those things. And then one day she cracked it, and now she's she divorced her husband, totally became a call girl, and she was charging $10,000 a weekend.
Holy shit!
I know, right?
5,000 or something. Yeah, I think she said 5,000 to me. It's a lot of money.
No, if she stayed overnight with them for the weekend and all that, and she was trying to get me into it, and I'm like, oh, I'm big bad.
Does anybody want to pay me 10 grand to spend a weekend with me?
I think I'd rather choke on my own vomit, thank you.
You're echoing again, William.
I'm open to offers, everyone. Let's do an auction.
Again.
How do you go from, well, obviously she thought well enough of herself to go, hey, I'm worth a lot. So clearly she didn't just go, I know Aphrodite's. That's the only one I know because I used to work up the road at Luigi's many, many years ago. I don't know if Aphrodite's is still there. I think that was more of a high class one. I don't know. That was many years ago. But how did she just go knock on the door?
Oh, she did. She knew her value. See,
Wow.
She valued herself, and she knew her market, and also, she knew how energy worked. So she used the energy to draw the men into her. So she used the magnetism, and to bring them into her as a client. And she was specific who her clients were, her clientele. But the main thing she said to me was, she said the majority of the time she becomes the counselor for the men. So she said she spends most time actually consoling the men because some of them obviously had a lot of they're in a marriage, and most of the time she said I actually sat down and talked to them and counseled them and did energy work on them because of the restrictive and the sexuality. And so you can see,
wow.
Yeah, you can see it says.
So she was a sex therapist and a prostitute.
Yeah, she was a sex therapist. Well, remember Raymond Grace said that, you've got your mind and then the heart is like 5,000 more powerful than the mind. And then he said about the sexual energy, it's even higher than the heart. And so that's something that we just really we have to address. We really got to address. And sexuality doesn't mean that, you go fucking all the different, the men and women. It's energy. It's really energy. And so these things we don't really discuss because, we're feeling guilty or shame about body shame and things like that. But the context of sexual energy really is energy. That's it.
When you think of me, Grace, I grew up in this very strict kind of Christian home. I was a virgin when I got married. I think I hit 40 and I'd only been with you. And then when things ended, I just made up for it all, I think, in about 12 months.
Exactly.
I think if anything that moved, I was there,
See, we came from opposite ends. Before I married Warren, I lost count how many men I've been with. And then here I am going, holy shit, I'm going to be with a virgin.
I know, eh? I got really conditioned into that, and then and I think when I finally broke out, I remember hearing D Martini when he talked about that, and that's what happened to me. I just went bang, you know, about 12, 18 months. I just had the time of my life. I mean, you know, anyone was up for it, I'm like, yeah, let's have some fun. And it was okay for a while, and then I thought, okay, then I balanced myself out. So I think I caught up in about 15 months or 18 months.
Yeah, well, I remember because the thing is, you know, the beauty about being married to Warren was that when we got together, we made a commitment that we will grow in Christ no matter what it is, what it means for us. And so when he said about he wanted to experience other women, well, go for it. You're not chained to me, Warren, because if you have it in you, you'll always have it. And you wake up one day, you're 80 years of age, regretting so much. So you're released. I'm not holding you back. And you got to explore what you need to explore. Because I've done my part. I've had lots of men before I was married. And he didn't experience that with multiple women. So I said, you know, you're not chained to me. And we're here to grow in our consciousness. We're here to grow in our spiritual walk. And whatever that means, then do it.
I'm still stuck on the $10,000 a weekend. I feel like she needs to try to do that.
Hey, Tanya, there's a job for you, hey?
She had to stay with them for the whole weekend, Tanya.
$10,000, geez.
Well, if you work 2 days and then have 5 days off, that's not so bad.
Hey, there's a new line of work for Holly and Tanya.
There you go, Holly. You solved your stepping away from your work.
Yeah. Go the forklift driving. Here it comes, guys.
Oh, exactly.
Actually, all the nightclubs been shut down for so long. There probably is a lot more guys looking.
Here it comes. You could put a pun on that word too, couldn't you?
Well, you'll never be locked down, is it? The service will be open, wouldn't it?
Well, Victoria.
Even in Victoria, the brothels are open, aren't they?
I actually met, when I was in Vegas, being mentored by Toby, I remember we went to, he says to me, he said, I've got part of our mentoring, I'm taking you to Sapphire Strip Club. We go, oh, okay. He goes, the best strip club in Vegas. I want you to chat to the girls and, you know, part of it is learning to approach and all that kind of stuff, and which I could do, but I remember what ended up happening was I got talking to this girl who was a stripper, and we ended up speaking for hours and hours, and she didn't even charge me. And she was a paralegal in Los Angeles, and she had a very conservative Christian girl. And what happened was, for a dare, when she was 23, they came to a strip club for a hen's night, and for a dare, they said to her, because they were offering free night trials, they said, hey, you should do this for a night. So they dared her, so she did it. And she thought, this is quite fun. And she actually did. Every weekend for 2 nights, she'd go up, she'd make about 3,000 or 4,000, make far more than a paralegal. And she was using that, and she was able to buy a house. And literally by doing that, so that's what she did. She said, I work my normal paralegal job. No one knows about this job apart from a few of my close friends. And she said, now you with my stories, I don't even tell hardly anyone my story here. And it was just, it was just quite... And it was just, quite funny to hear someone's story like that.
Wow. Yeah, so doing it from an empowerment rather than a victim mode, it's not a bad thing. Whereas, we're always brought up that, oh, my God, it's a terrible thing. But, yeah.
Well, most of them there, I could tell the general experience when I talk, because I got to know a lot of strippers pretty well, and this makes me sound like an interesting person, I know, but as I see it, Jesus hung out with strippers and prostitutes, so I'm in good company. So, but basically, I mean, most of the ones I met, most of them said after a period of time, it grates on your energy and soul, and it actually affects your ability to have a normal connection with a man, because you can't help but see them as a money or sexual thing. So generally, what I noticed, I could always tell pretty quickly the ones who've been doing it for less than, say, 6 months to a year, and the ones who've been doing it for 2 or 3 years. The ones who've been doing it 2 or 3 years were more hardened with their energy. They were very professional. They were very good. They wouldn't give you much time. They'd talk to you for a couple of minutes. If they got the slightest impression you wouldn't pay you, they'd move on. Whereas the ones who were quite new, they were actually quite friendly, quite chatty, and really great to be around. the other thing I noticed too was they were very, very spiritually perceptive, like some of the most spiritually psychic people I've met. I mean, they could read energy really well. And that's why they found me fascinating, because I could read their energy. So that's why they would get talking to me. But they said, yeah, we have to be able to read the men's energy to basically know straight away, what to do. So it was a bit of an interesting experience meeting them, but I think I decided after a few years, I thought, yeah, I still go. I haven't been for a long time. I'd probably just go there just for a bit of a fun night or whatever else, and just to talk to them more than anything else, because many of them are the most interesting people to talk to. And I can see why Jesus, it says he used to hang out with them. He used to go to the clubs and the pubs and everything. And I think this is one of the things that tends to happen on our spiritual journey. We get, which you do, for a time you've got to withdraw to actually cleanse, to kind of find who you are in your path. But then eventually you get called to come back and be a light, or do something in some form. So, and certainly right now, I mean, I think our country and our world needs people to be a light in the world and have that balance between being spiritual but also being normal to relate to people. Because otherwise, I think, things will only get worse.
So what about though, like, I was taught like, a lot of those places like bars and all that sort of stuff are really low energy and you pick up lots of entities.
Yeah.
So how do you, you're aware of that then clearly. So
well, William, you're a good one to comment on that one, because you drop into clubs and you're very good at keeping your energy clean in those situations. Like I just protect myself with an orb myself and just go in there from that point of view, and I make sure I clear myself afterwards. So I protect myself before and I do an auric clearing on myself afterwards. That's why the auric clearing is so good. Is that what you do, William?
Well, generally, Tanya, what I'll do is, I'll do the protection as well. But then any entities around, they're harmless. But if they try to attack me, then I'll just attack them and clear them out and boot them out of my field. Yeah,
that's actually true. What I do now is I warn them. I generally warn them and say, just so you know, if you come into my energy field, I'm not like a normal healer. I won't just move you onto the other realm. I'll get you to the lowest astral realm locked up and possibly put you in. So I'd be an arsehole with the discards. So they kind of know with me, and I do. I always ask the councils, put them in the worst possible astral realm I'm allowed to put them in, and that kind of stuff. So generally I've noticed since I've been like that, they don't really come near me very often now. So it's been the best thing I ever did was just say, you come near me, I'm just going to be really mean to you. But if you leave me alone, I understand you need healing, and if you want healing, that's fine, And we do release a lot of souls too. Like often there's discarnates. I remember Raymond taught us about that. And I can remember when I was in Charleston and I passed this field, and I straight away knew this had been a slave plantation. And I could feel the cries of the Negro slaves, and it was just agony. And I know James, Ed and William were with me when that happened. And so we actually worked to clear them, and we actually saw like a portal open up, and all of them just kind of went through, So you can do a lot of things to help the discarnates as well.
Well, if you want to be in a boot camp, that's certainly one way to learn how to discern all these things.
Yeah.
Well, go to strip clubs.
Not necessarily. You just have to have conversation with different people, isn't it? Yeah. Wow. Well, it's interesting discussion this morning.
And disappeared.
How's everyone else? Is everyone okay?
Yep. I suppose there's one argument too that if you're protecting yourself, you're not. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. So, if you're separating off part of life, if you are protecting yourself, if you know what I'm saying,
because when you're protecting yourself, you're sealing yourself and imprison yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've got to strengthen yourself, but and not making yourself too open. But yeah, exactly what you're saying here.
Well, what I call it, Neville, is risk management.
So, sorry.
So, for example, I just don't jump into something. Risk management. You count your cost. You count your costs, whether you can pay it or not, isn't it? It's like if you're going to jump in and start your own business, you'll do a self-analysis. Your state, how your money is, your finance, and how your family's going to be if you're going to start a business, that kind of thing. So you just don't go in like a zombie or frozen. Yeah, it's risk management, isn't it? So there's a risk.
Yeah.
There's a difference in risk management to protection.
Yep. Definitely.
But then again, it's you can walk outside the door and you can get run over, or you can have a car crash, or you can have whatever, and then what? Recycle all over again, do the Groundhog's Day.
Yep.
So
yeah, can you bring my?
Yeah, because when you look at it, how much do you actually hold yourself back? How much do you restrict yourself?
Mm-hmm.
How much, when you look at it, really our true fear is death, isn't it? Our fear.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And so if you have no fear of death, would anything hold you back?
No.
That's
right.
If we really are energy, and this thing that we're under, the skin, the hair and all that, is just physical, that's just, it's mortal. But if we really, if you have that true revelation in yourself that you are immortal, you are infinite being, why hold yourself? Why restrict yourself? Because the only thing that restricts us is death. The Bible says death, the last enemy of this life is death. Death is a victory.
Yep. Yeah, that's probably what I was sort of hinting at. Yeah.
So what if we go bankrupt? We lose everything. We lose our relationship. We lose our loved ones. That's just what, so many years? When you look at it, we are infinite potentiality. I love David Icke. He always says potentiality.
I actually agree. Because if you think about it, like the fear of death also means death to your way of life, like death in your relatives, death to your family members, death to your business, death to your financial security. And what you were just saying, Ben, I was just really reflective, because when you were saying how many layers we add up and and how we repress so much. And that's why one of my favorite scriptures is when Jesus said, unless you become like a little child, you cannot inherit the kingdom of God. And I really get what he means, because those little children don't have the layers. They just are. They're just little energy bodies who are just like laughing, or they're kind of being like, they say no, or you want to kiss Aunt Mary? No, whereas today, you want to do this? Well, I've just got to look into my schedule. When you say, no, fuck off, I don't want to do that for you. Whereas a kid would probably say no. Like I loved William at 2. Remember when you'd ask him to do something, he'd go, no.
I know. My wonderful firstborn. He still does it to me. He still does it.
No.
He still.
Yeah, if I don't want to do something, I won't do it.
He won't do it.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the death part, the best thing that Warren and I did was kill the death of our marriage. I mean, we are so much better in our relationship today, being caught up in the marriage sense.
No.
Isn't it, Warren? So when we decided to kill our marriage, it was like, you go through the emotional hormone and all that stuff. Obviously, but we gave each other permission for the next 2 years. We're gonna be blaming each other. We're gonna do all sorts of things to each other. But afterwards, let's mature and see for what it is. And it's the greatest thing that we could have done, released ourselves from that marriage, hey?
Yeah, well, when you think about it, this is the whole thing with labels, Grace. Like let's say I am in a relationship. Let's say I said that. What are people like? Oh, okay. So there's this and there's this and there's this. Or like I am married. Oh, okay. So you do business together, you do this together. Oh, yeah. And you have sex together and you only do this with each other and you have that. And suddenly you have 1,000,001 labels on you just by the moment you said that one thing. And whereas really, this is what I loved about, say, like what Dudley Daniel preached years ago when he said, why do you call someone, say, Pastor Grace or Pastor Warren? He goes, because the moment you do that, you're giving someone like this title or this label. Or like I used to hate it when I'd say, oh, this is Warren, Warren, I'm an accountant, or I'm a lawyer. Straight away, you get an impression of me, oh, yeah, he must be some guy in a suit and he does this and he's like that. Whereas when I'm like, yeah, no, I'm Warren, I do tax specialist advice, I do consciousness stuff, or, yeah, like Grace and I, we're very connected with our spiritual work because we're very, very like-minded. I love parenting with Grace. She's the greatest parent. Living in a house with her, no, that was horrible, because we're so different. So you can just kind of say it as it is.
Yeah. He used to check my pantry, ladies. Every time he came over, he'd check my pantry. What are you feeding my boys? What?
I would. I ordered the pantry.
Grace? I'm like, Warren, this is my place, my pantry. Oh, he'd audit my pantry and see what I'm feeding the boys.
I'd say, you can't feed them Milo. And she's going, well, so in the end, I said to the boys, now, and I thought, okay, I tried to pull her in the line, but she wouldn't listen. So then I sat down with the boys and talked with them, and 2 of them agreed with me and I won them over, and 2 of them continued to follow Grace's way of being.
I'm sure you can guess who was won over and who wasn't.
No, yeah. Well, William would just kind of. Well, mind you, William's eating well now because he started to blow out in his weight, and he goes, "Oops!" And then he changed all that, and now he's dropped it all again. So.
Hey, he gained weight at Nana's house, not here.
Oh yeah.
well, I mean that's no surprise there.
God.
Yeah, you're echoing, William.
Oh, yeah, because I'm setting up my mic now.
Okay.
You put your mic in, yeah, because this mic you're on now is terrible. You sound like Gollum or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Try it again, William. See how it sounds.
Hold on, I'm putting it in.
Penny looks like she's in a nice place.
I know, right? How's your values going, Penny?
Okay, there we go. I don't sound like Gollum.
No,
much better, William. Otherwise, it will reverberate on my ears.
Well, we never have boring chats, do we? It certainly gets interesting. But that's why I love Borat so much, because he just puts all his shadows out there. And I'm very much like that. Like, remember what Neil and I used to be like when we were younger, Grace?
Yes.
Yeah, my cousin and I were a nightmare. My mum and my aunt used to say, oh, they're good boys until they get together. But, yeah, we were just horrific. Like, just all of them, I'd naturally like to do really bad stuff. So that's why when Grace said before, not everyone has to go to a strip club, no, just realise that if something's bad, I'll probably try it. Whereas many of you don't have to go quite as extreme as me. I'm just a bit feral if you haven't worked it out yet.
Well, you just got to go with what leads you, because each one of us here, we've got to experience something different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're all different, which is fantastic, so that we can grow. When you look at it, we are all fragmented, so that we can experience different things, and then when we come together, we share what we've experienced. And just as much as Holly's experience, by her sharing, I've experienced it, or Tanya or Chris or whoever, everyone here. And when we share it, it's like we've experienced it ourselves, isn't it? So So it's all about that. We're here to experience multiple different things, and we're here to overcome our what we restrict ourselves, what we put ourselves in jail. The only person that put us in jail is you, is us. It's me. I'm the one that put myself in jail. I'm the one that's put myself in this blockage. I'm the one that blocks myself. The archons and the devil and all that, they just have to flick a light, and it's up to my reaction, isn't it, in myself? So it's me that's doing it, and I'll give them full permission to do it. So I totally take that away, that right for giving them permission to do anything to me. And so I release myself. I'll give myself permission, whatever I need to experience for myself, in order for me to grow in this spiritual walk. It's a narrow path that we're walking in, guys, isn't it? But in that narrow path, there's a strict guidance. There's a strict step by step in how to do it. So anyway,
William.
Are you ready, Will?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to this.
Same.
Do you want me to start with Lord's Prayer, William, or do you want to just get on with it yourself?
What's that?
Do you want me to start with Lord's Prayer for you, or do you just want to get straight on with it?
I reckon start with the Lord's Prayer.
Okay. Do you have it on your PowerPoint, or I'll just read it out from mine?
Just read it out from yours.
Okay. So I always do the Lord's Prayer because Christ, Yeshua, said to do this, and when you come together, and it's just a lot. It's a great activation just to start any message. It covers just about everything that we need, so to speak. So for the energy. So I'll vow from whom the breath of life comes, the Amen, who fills all the realms of sound, light, and vibration in the higher realms. May your light be experienced in my uttermost, holiest, and innermost being. May your kingdom and heavenly domain approach. May your will and higher plan come true in this universe and all that vibrates, and on earth, the realm that is material and dense, to become as it is in the higher. Give us wisdom, understanding, assistance for our daily needs, and detach all the fetters of fault, of karma, that bind us and keep us entrapped in this 3D world. In the same way we release the guilt and the burdens that we place upon others and clear them out. Let us not be lost in superficial things, worthless materialism, common temptation to actually distract us from our path. But rather let us be freed from anything which keeps us from living our purpose, and from all which what we would label as evil or designed to distract or harm. From you comes the all-working will, the lively strength to act, the song that beautifies all and renews itself from age to age. And may your light and your glory and your power and presence protect and keep us surrounded today. And may the blood of Christ release all that is ensnaring us. Amen. Sealed in faith, trust, and truth, confirmed with my entire being. Okay, well, it's over to you, my friend.
Okay, great. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, yep, so everyone else can. Good. Well, hi, everyone. Do I turn it on now? Okay, so now let's get straight into today's message, which is J seals and mind control implants. So first, we'll look at J seals and what they are. So there are many things that happen in our life, such as regularly attracting financial losses or financial hardships and stuff like that. Consistently ending up in toxic relationships, difficulty meditating and unlocking your third eye, holding on to the past and not letting go, projections and worries about the futures, impact of the mass mind of consciousness, so taking on the energy of the mass mind or people close to you. All of this could be a result of your 7 J seals being triggered. Our situation will most likely never improve until we completely remove our J seals and other energetic blockages or imprints. So in other words, if we get without removing the J seals and the implants, our situation will remain the same until we do so. So what are they exactly? Now we have 7 of them. And what they are energetic implants or distortions which were placed on you by dark masters the moment that you were born. And everything born on this earth has J seals. So it's not just humans, but animals and plants and the land, everything else also has J seals. They've been around for 200,000 odd years or so. They've been around for a long time. They attach to our energy fields from the earth's grids. So they attach themselves to our auric fields from the earth grids because they are implanted in the earth. They are created by the Anunnaki, which are an intruding fallen race descended from the Nephilim. So the Anunnaki are like a reptilian race, which come from the Nephilim giants, the ones who are bloodthirsty and all about war, conquering, dominion, and eating people, to control us and limit our growth and evolution as a collective. They are all on the left side of your body, beginning at your head, going down to your anus. So they are all on the left side. And that one is a fascinating subject, especially because the left side is known to be the feminine and the receiving side, the one which actually helps to connect you to source. So where are they located? Now, where are they exactly? The first seal is at the top of the skull of the left side. Second one is at the heart, the left lung, the back of the left knee. The third one is at the pineal gland or the third eye. Fourth one, the left side of the neck and lymphatics. The fifth seal is the rear left thigh and buttock. The sixth seal is the altar major, where the skull rests atop the spine, hypothalamus, and top of left shoulder. And the seventh seal is at the aorta artery on the left side of the neck. So as you can see, these seals are certainly in a very specific place of our body on the left side. And it's not just J seals to worry about. No, there's more. So the energetics, there are also energetic seals which come with it. So of course you have the 7 J seals or the Jehovah's seals. You have the crown of thorns, which was an energetic crucifixion to humanity, which basically is designed to stop us from accessing Christ and those higher masters. The metatronic implants, so these are like a reversal of our DNA template and who we are. Because, I mean, while naturally our DNA is evolving and growing and it's constantly moving, it's never stagnant or comfortable and staying the same in one place. But the metatronic implants is the reversal of that. So in other words, that metatronic implant stops immortality and living a long life. Because as we all know, back in ancient times with Abraham, Noah, these guys lived hundreds of years old with no effort. And you have the Zeta seal, which is located around the fourth strand of your DNA. This Zeta seal stops you from being able to receive and give love, especially from the higher masters and from Christ. And then you have the Templar seal and the Templar Axiom seal. These ones are quite terrible. So these were the original 666 number, or in other words, negative programming and conditioning of our DNA, which basically makes it operate in reverse rather than ascension and the way it's meant to be, and with music tones, all kinds of stuff. And then you have this. Then you have the cell death programs. So instead of us living hundreds of years old, these cell death programs are designed to cause sicknesses, diseases, and everything like that, which results in a biological death. Because biological death, when we're in our true essence, it's not actually natural. So for like animals, biological death is natural for animals, but whereas for us, it's not. We're not meant to biologically die in that sense. And then you have the Tower of Babel incident, where what happened, of course, that's a long story, but basically it involves a group of watchers who were placed to watch over the earth, but because they came down and had sex with the women down here, and then they bred the Nephilim giants, which resulted in the Noah's flood. And then what had happened after that was Enoch had built an ascended city, and everyone was ascending back to God, and everyone was on their path. But then because the watchers were still lurking, they'd found a way to get back into heaven, because they were never allowed back in. They found the way to build a tower through a man called Nimrod. And because the earth was of one language back then, if God hadn't cast everyone down and scrambled into a million different languages, hence why we have so many different languages today, if it was of one language, the big problem is that they would have gotten back in and corrupted the higher dimensions. And then you have the Egyptian seals, the Mayan seals, the seal of Pallador, seal of Amente, and many, many other unnatural implants. So there's certainly a lot at work here and at large. Okay, so the question is, how do J seals affect me? Your path to ascension is blocked and it won't be possible. You can forget it. Your third eye is blocked and your awareness. Your ability to attract and create wealth is much harder. It's much harder to feel content and aligned with your path, purpose, and mission for this planet. So you won't, even if you are on your path, you won't feel content, and you'll feel out of balance, and you'll be vulnerable to attacks by the dark. They don't want you doing your part. Harder to attract quality relationships. Constantly attracts bad health and physical illnesses or diseases. And in severe cases, they're capable of manifesting death. Okay, so now let's go further into J seals. They're like a virus or malware in your computer. The computer does things it's not supposed to. Until you clear the virus or Trojan or malware, you can scream, curse, shout, but nothing changes. The good news, however, is you can change your hologram by clearing yourself of imprints and reprogramming yourself to align with your divine frequency and blueprint. By removing your J seals, your path to ascension being aligned with your purpose and attract and creating wealth becomes much easier. So just type a Y in the text chat if you can relate to how the J seals affect you, what we just shared. So just type a Y if any of those effects have applied to you. So Sharon, Daniela, Sheldon, Suzanne, Diana, amazing. Tanya, oh yes. Holly, yes. Mika, yes. Penny, yes. Yep, so just about everyone has experienced one or the other in that way. So now we'll just look at the scientific basis behind J seals. So now let's take a look at the scientific basis behind installing J seals and other implants in the programming. Now, scientists have agreed that there is a quantum or esoteric realm which governs all things. They say the universe is one giant hologram, i.e. consciousness precedes matter. So rather than the other way around, which was the old belief. So the examples of scientists who believe in this: Carl Pribham, Stanford University neurophysicist; David Bohm, University of London physicist; Amit Goswami, Oxford University physicist; and Dr. Joe Dispenza. So these are a few examples. Michael Talbot also had his own take in the holographic universe. He believes that coffee cups, trees, table lamps might not exist or even exist in the way that we believe them to be. So in other words, it's all an illusion, and the mystics are right. So for centuries, the people who have been called crazy and fruitcakes and a bit loose in the head, all kinds of different labels, they're finally agreeing that these guys actually are right, and that they really do have a point. So in conclusion, they have concluded that classic physics is questionable and quantum physics makes sense, i.e. there is an etheric or mystical quantum realm. So instead of it being dismissed as like not existing or that it's a bunch of nonsense, they're now agreeing that there is something beyond. All things are interconnected. So we're not separate as we believed all these centuries, but indeed we are connected as one whole. Time and space don't exist. It's not linear. Holographic theory is real. So i.e. things don't exist until they're observed, and they remain waves until that point. Joe Dispenza has blown my mind. Yeah, Miko, he does have a lot of interesting stuff. And I thought a few people here would know who he is. So, okay, so now let's look into how J-seals are created. Unless you're actively clearing energetic imprints such as J-seals, you'll stay in a constant struggle in areas of your life, whether it's financially, spiritually, mentally, etc. These programming devices have a very powerful impact, and they affect your thoughts and conscious manifestation process on all levels. It's why implants are increasing and why they're putting more and more. Because the more implants there are, the more your thought process and your manifestation will be affected, and the less effective it will really be, especially if you're on your path. So, as it states in Romans 7 and Galatians 2 in the Bible, you carry sin, corruption in your DNA until you've been redeemed. So that is, your J-seal, it blockages and imprints stay in your blood and DNA until they've been removed or cleared. So even the Bible talks a lot about this, that you do carry sin and the corruption in your DNA, and it will stay there until it's been removed. So Warren, I remember that you told me about this. So do you have any comments on that, on the carrying corruption in the DNA?
Yeah, look, basically, I mean, many different groups have come up with this. Like the Christians obviously took it like we were born with original sin with Adam. But best way to think of it is that we originally, of course, were a much more pure template than this. And when you fall down through multiple layers like we have and been through various falls, as the Keys of Enoch says, gradually our frequency and DNA descends. And that's why all of us have descended. And now we're in a process of ascension to go back. So, yeah, we're born with our corrupted DNA. And generally, most of our fire letters are switched off. That's a whole different discussion, as you know. So most of our DNA and fire letters are completely switched off and not functioning. And then bit by bit, as we awaken our spirit, and as we start doing our clearings, we start to awaken our DNA and things like that. That's what you mean, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. That our DNA can't work properly, nor can it be activated until we've been redeemed. So yeah, thanks, Warren. So these are examples of J-seals' impact. The impact of them. They can lead us to create money imprints. So that, like, parents' beliefs and spoken words over us, going broke in a business or being cheated on by a business partner or getting bad advice, losing in an investment or having money stolen from you, a traumatic emotional experience or neuroassociation. Example, like you were raped, assaulted, partner, or cheated on you while making millions or whatever. spiritual dissociation, or repressive disorders. So, like associating money with being less spiritual or evil, greedy people make money. And of course, the big one is that money is the root of all evil. But it's like I always say with the money, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. It's about love and lust. So lusting after money, of course, is evil. Whereas when you have the true love for it and see it as energy, and when you move in that more like in the mind of Christ, you'll start to realize that it is actually a good thing to be very prosperous, and it's not bad, and poverty is not holy, like all these ridiculous beliefs that religions have put onto people. So, or bad examples around money, like heroes or business leaders who make a lot of money and they've done well, but they have very poor character. So, in other words, one person can excel in a certain area of their life, like they've had a great career, or they made a lot of money, or they can do great miracles in healing meetings. But yet, as a person, they can be misogynistic, racist, sexist, or just a total asshat of the highest order. Making a bad mistake and making up a story around it, or blaming yourself or others, like transferring money to the wrong account, trading markets, mass mind belief system, being in a corrupt, fire, and greedy system. It's like a dirty house. So when you clean your house every day, it's going to stay spotless and you're going to enjoy living there. Whereas as soon as you stop cleaning your house, gradually the dust builds up and riddles back in. And then your house will just end up like it was before or worse. Okay, so now let's get into the mind control implants. So now we'll look at the implants and how the morphogenetic chakras or etheric realm works. Human DNA can be influenced from the fourth density field. So in other words, from the higher dimensions. And since DNA is a receiver and transmitter of frequency, by projecting a particular vibration into the DNA, such as laser, sound, or even thoughts and words, this can shift and change it, or even block it and dumb it down. So DNA, you can either use it for great, or it can be used for horrors like this. So whatever vibrations are projected into the DNA, or thoughts and words, it can very much change your DNA. So the best way to describe these are twisted eddy currents of energy that emit various frequencies, which create something akin to white noise. People are internally distracted by the noise, which lowers their vibration, and since it is prevalent, fades into the background of their experience. They feel distracted, irritable, and off course, and have no idea why. So in other words, with this white noise, people have now, whatever trauma or a horrible experience they've gone through, or their upbringing, they pushed it down and they've suppressed it so much that it fades into the background of their experience, and they won't even remember it. So they'll feel distracted and irritable and off course, and they don't know why. Someone's got their mic on. Could someone mute, please? Thank you. Yeah, so as I was saying, that this is the trouble, that because of this white noise and the suppression, they have no idea why they're going through these horrible experiences, like health issues or whatever it is. Now, why were they created? Originally, they were actually used as a great purpose, because back. Okay, someone's got their mic on again. Okay, I'll just mute. Okay, good. So as I was saying, etheric implants were originally created as a spiritual technology to be used as homing beacons for souls to return to their homes from their travels to other planets, dimensions, and planes of existence. So they were also, not only that, they were also used for healing purposes. Like souls could heal themselves etherically on the spiritual plane and in other planes of existence and in other galaxies. So they were not only used for healing, but they were also used to help souls return to their homes and basically to teleport. All technology, as we know, has the potential to be misused. No matter what's up, everything can be corrupted. Etheric implants, unfortunately, are no exception. Now, because they can be programmed, they can be used for any number of purposes, whether they're positive or negative. If used for a positive purpose, they can be used for healing and help you accelerate forward. And they can be fantastic technologies. If used for a negative purpose, however, they can cause great harm and destruction. Tanya, I've been frustrated for so long that I can't teleport. Yeah, I think you're not the only one. I know that I am, and I certainly would love that as well. What happened was there was a small group of souls who had a lot of greed and a lot of personal gain in their hearts. So they took control of the technology to use it for their own purposes to gain power and dominion over other people. It ended up with more sinister beings who wanted to use it to harm people. And implants are associated with negative programming that is mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially damaging to drain energy from you, manipulate you into something, or limit your capabilities. So I'll show you what I mean. They can prevent ascension, keep you from higher dimensions, feel guilty when you speak your truth, experience physical pain when you step onto your path, having excessive anger at traumatic events and rage, cause financial loss or limit wealth-producing capabilities, and keep you stuck in the same endless loop of misery financially, feeling guilt when using your spiritual abilities to make money and all that kind of stuff. So just type a Y in the text chat if that applies to you, like feeling guilty when you speak your truth, or making money with spiritual abilities, or any of these here, or even something else which is not listed. Tanya, yes. Holly, hand up. Sheldon, Penny, Miko, I can relate. Sharon, yes. Judith, yes. Daniela, guilt around money. Yeah, that's a pretty big one. Guilt around money and speaking truth are really big ones. Diana, I definitely see it in the financial area. Yes. And I mean, it's like I said before, I mean, the religion and spirituality always teach that poverty is holy and that lots of money is really bad. Whereas when you study Christ, Yogananda, and all the great masters and the gurus, all of these guys lacked for nothing, and all of these guys had plenty of money and they were very prosperous. But of course, because they weren't greedy, then they could use it to actually go for causes beyond themselves, like helping the poor, the broken, the needy, and of course living extravagantly and living the best. Because the truth is, I mean, think of it like a king and his son. I mean, I'm sure the king would not want his son dressed in rags and very impoverished and malnourished, and maybe bad breath, and basically just looking so bad that basically he kind of looks like Gollum or whatever. But I mean, no, the king would want his son to dress the best and basically look really good. So I mean, how much more does our Heavenly Father want that for us? I mean, he doesn't want us wallowing in guilt around that. He does not want us to basically be struggling for money and being stuck in a dead-end job or business which we don't even like and which is killing us every day. So, and Suzanne, used to, not a great deal anymore. You learned a lot in the last few years. That's excellent, Suzanne. So as an example, an energy implant may be inserted close to a key center, such as the third eye. So when you try to meditate and open that center, the subtle vibration of the noise means you can't bring attention to it and get easily distracted during meditation. The implants can be felt as twisted knots of energy, usually in the forehead just left or right of the center. They are often why people get headaches or migraines when they try to meditate. So if an implant is inserted in light, such as in the third eye or anywhere related, that can actually explain a lot of why when you meditate, you get distracted and you can't seem to find peace, or experiencing headaches or migraines. So Sharon, when we hear white noise, is it always implants? Not it can be, but most of it is just a lot of the stuff which is going on within you, which you haven't dealt with. So another example is an implant in the sexual area. This limits your ability to enjoy sex or else to use sexual energy for manifestation or business. So that's another interesting one to look at too. That if you have an implant in the sexual area, you may find that it's hard to receive true pleasure from sex, or not being unable to use it to manifest or for business. So Warren said, I had someone do that to me in my sexual area, put an implant. It was like all my energy went dead there for 3 months until I finally worked out who did it and why and cleared it. Yeah, exactly, Warren. I mean, when having an implant in that area, it can certainly do a lot of damage. So just type Y in the text chat if you type Y in the text chat if that resonates. Implant in the sexual area or causing difficulties with meditation. Tanya, yeah. Holly, yeah. Sheldon, yeah. Sharon, what about babies being played? White noise? Yes. So, yeah, Sheldon, Holly, and Tanya. So only a few of you. Holly, this is really good, making so much sense. Yeah, it really opened my eyes when I learned all this stuff, and it explained a lot of why things happen the way they do. Penny, yes. Implants keep you connected with higher beings. So it's while they can keep you connected with the higher masters, like the good implants, these negative ones, they can actually connect you to the darker beings, and they suck off you like a parasite. So they're feeding off your energy. That is, the Matrix is real. So the Matrix isn't just a movie, it's real. And Tanya says, ew, Miko, wow. Yeah, it is yuck, Tanya. Just the thought of it is yuck. And even worse is when it's happening, because it's one big cesspool. And Warren says the good implants, though, are wonderful. Yes, they are, Warren. And Danielle says, is my implant trying to put me to sleep right now? Yeah, that is a possibility. That when you're learning these messages and all, it can do that to try to distract you. Implants can be placed anywhere in your energy field. They have a negative effect on your mental or emotional state or your physical body, especially when it comes to a physical or financial disease. That is, it is an etheric illness, nor a physical, mental, or emotional illness. So it's not just your body or mental or emotional. It can also do it to your financial and also your health. And it actually comes from your etheric or your auric field. It's not in the physical. And the problem is because people take too long to deal with it. That's why it manifests into the physical as a forced awakening. Examples include allergies, chronic fatigue, insomnia, mental disorders, depression and anxiety, cancer, autoimmune disorders or larger illnesses, joints, bones, heart disease, digestive issues, back and spine issues. The list can go on and on. Okay, so now that we've gone through implants and now that we're moving into the black cube, does anyone have any questions on the implants? So we've got a first one here. Can we do manifest positive implants ourselves? So yes, you can, Chris, you definitely can. But the main thing, the most important thing to get positive implants is by working on yourself and doing regular clearings and stepping onto your path, because that's how it will naturally start coming in. Because ultimately it's the higher masters that will implant them into us. Holly, how do we clear the negative ones? You'll find out later on, just a bit later on. So all left side implants negative. Well, some can be, Sharon, like the J seals, but if the positive implants, you can also get positive implants there. And Warren says made implants are put in by regular clearings and also by higher masters when you're doing the work of service. Exactly. Playing white noise to babies is bad then? Well, I'm not sure what you mean, Sharon. Because white noise, that's just like the suppression and the distractions that you have.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm driving, that's why it's hard. My daughter plays white noise constantly to her babies. So is that a method to deter them from opening, or is it just neutral, is what I'm asking.
So when you say your daughter plays white noise, so what's white noise? Is it like a music or something?
Yeah, it's like a frequency tone on YouTube that she plays, and many young mums do, to their babies, like every time they go to sleep.
Well, that's very much a possibility. I can't confirm that for sure, but usually huge mainstream ones like that, it normally will be designed to affect the babies, because babies are even more vulnerable than adults and children.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I was trying to convince her to play some better like Tesla tones, but she's convinced white noise is the best thing ever. So she's still playing it to her 3-year-old and an 8-month-old. So yeah, I'll try and convince her a bit more to change. I was just curious about that, because it would make sense that they put that out on the market and block the babies from the beginning, especially as the frequency rises of the earth, because the children coming in are more likely to be, more in tune from birth.
Well, exactly. And like I said, that's definitely a huge possibility, considering it's a very mainstream, because normally mainstream like that, it normally does have all kinds of spells and curses and stuff behind it.
Yeah, okay, wouldn't be surprised. Thanks for that. I'll turn my mic off.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. Okay. So, okay, Irina said, how does someone place an implant in you like with Warren? Well, by finding a loophole. I mean, if you have unresolved karma with them or with yourself or someone else, they can use loopholes like that to do it. It's always but I mean, implants and dark beings, they can't get inside you unless they're invited in. Is it deliberate or unconscious? Well, either. I mean, generally either. I mean, it generally Generally a lot of it is unconscious, but some deliberate. Okay. So now what we'll do is move into the black cube, and if anyone else has questions, I'll take them at the end. Okay, so now let's get into the black cube. I trust you're all as excited for this as I am. So the key 109 in the Keys of Enoch talks heavily on this topic, and that's where I learned it from. Just as we have a pyramid as our central matrix for the light, so do the dark. The dark have their own central matrix. And our universe is deeply entrenched in the clutches of the black cube. So the black cube is their central matrix for the dark. And unfortunately, we're very much in the clutches of the black cube. It's actually been said that this was previously the white stone that Adam brought out from the Garden of Eden. So it was actually very light. However, as time went on, it slowly gathered darkness through the corruption of man, of the sin of man. So the sin of man slowly corrupted this white stone. As soon as the power of the Father leaves a universal country, if the presence of the Father is gone, the black cube can cause destruction at will. So when the spiritual decay, the black cube can cause destruction as it pleases. And so while we have light planets such as Pleiades and Orion, there are darker planets, there are also darker planets, and so there's Alpha Draconis, Omega Draconis, and Mecca. And I'm sure you've all heard of Draconians. So that very much is applicable. Within these nations, so these dark planets, physical destruction, entropy, war and violence, worshipping and bowing down to the negation of star energy takes place. So all of that is what takes place in these darker planets, and that's what they're built upon and what they're all about. The black cube actually functions with Alpha Draconis for the children of darkness. So this is how the black cube is able to function. It functions through the planet Alpha Draconis for the sons and the daughters of darkness. And verse 10 states that the black cube is symbolic of all the antimatter which passes through our planetary system of creation. So in other words, the black cube symbolizes all the antimatter or the antiparticles, and the anti-light, which passes through our planetary system of creation, our universe. Saving people from the clutches of the black cube requires you to bring them into the Torah or the godly light, so the light of God. So escaping the clutches of the black cube requires you to bring yourself to the God and to Christ. And removing negative entropy involves bringing in the scriptures of light, teaching the love of God, the love of the Son, and the love of Shekinah, the Holy Spirit. And by learning this power, the people can not only conquer the dark planets and deal with them, but they can also do that to the inversion of the 9th Enoch key. This is the 666, which you've all probably heard about, because understanding this key helps us to see how fallen universes are delivered through the galactic wars of the sons of light versus sons of darkness. So when you start to understand this key, it will open your third eye and open your eyes to see how fallen universes are delivered and how they're created, happening through the galactic wars and all the wars that we've been having. And we accomplish this through the 999, which is the threefold causality of Father, Son, Shekinah universes, operating together in all 9 cells of material creation, thus neutralizing the 666. So as you can see here, the 999, that's like the reverse of the 666. So the 999 is the original, is the true original key. So this is the three. So that's the threefold causality of those Father, Son, Shekinah universes, which operate together in all 9 cells of material creation. So that means you can, this is how you can deal with the 666. Okay, so now we'll get into clearing your J seals. So there is a spiritual and scientific basis behind clearing the J seals. The J seals are implanted in dimensions beyond the 4th. The Dark Masters have created a prism to spiritually trap people in the 4th dimension and lower. That is to stop you accessing higher realms as created. So to clear the J seals, we connect to higher realm masters who give us the power to activate and clear these seals under their authority and name. We need masters in the 9th and higher dimensions to assist with this. Now, we have 4 major brain states. We have delta, and that's delta, that's when you're completely asleep. Theta is when you're half asleep, half awake. Alpha, that's the brain state that you're in after you've watched a movie kind of thing. And beta is full on monkey mind and full on like 1,000,000 miles per hour. And here's how it works. The deeper your brain state, the more you're in a trance and the stronger programming happens in this state, like hypnosis. So the deeper your brain state is, the more powerful the clearing will be and the more that can be cleared. You can't clear J seals and similar imprints without going into the deeper layers of the subconscious, superconscious, and DNA. So J seals and implants cannot be cleared without going deep into the subconscious. Okay, so now I'll take some questions right before we do the clearing. Holly, do you think the J seals are consistent with their influence, or do they? Or do they wane from time to time? Well, you best believe that they're consistent, Holly. They don't just go away. They're always seeking to cause problems in your life. And I mean, implants and J seals, they tend to activate when you're doing the work in the light. Whereas when you're operating in darkness, they'll leave you alone. But whereas when you're operating in the light, that's when they tend to activate and cause problems, basically. Okay, so since no one else has any questions, Warren or Grace, do any of you guys want to add to that black cube?
Well, the main thing is that Keys of Enoch. I know Grace knows a lot about it, but yeah, in the Keys of Enoch, it actually says that the only way to overcome the black cube completely is you've got to move into the what's called Joseph coat of many colors, into a whole new light garment. So yeah, so definitely clearing the influence of the black cube. It's in Mecca, basically. So if you go in Mecca in 1973, King Faisal put it there, and if you actually look at Washington, in certain places in major cities, you'll actually see a big black cube on some of his places. Now, I'm not sure exactly where it is in Washington, but I know they've got it, and apparently in Canberra they've got it as well. So they do set this implant or this symbol up there. And the use of sacred, cover, yeah. So just the use of this kind of black cube and what's called occultic symbols and mind manipulation through symbols has been around for a long, long time. And I remember when Henry Ford tried to actually write a book. He commissioned Lady Queensborough to write a book on this whole topic to wake people up to this, and he got so much hassle in his business, he stopped doing it. But yeah, I know that even with Sahaja, who some of you know, we did some work on clearing some symbology and that kind of stuff. But when you go and look at shopping labels and look at everything, you'll see all these kind of like symbols and these codings, and they actually infuse them with spells. And they do it in rock music as well to hypnotize and control people. And yesterday I was speaking to Peter, the astrologer, and he was pretty much saying to me that we're in a retrograde Mercury, but he said right now it's like most of the world is hypnotized. And he said you can even see that the supposed spiritual leaders like the Dalai Lama and others have become hypnotized. So we were actually talking about this exact issue about symbols and, coding. And that is why the eventual mark of the beast on the right hand or forehead, will actually be some kind of coding, that will actually be put on your third eye and on your hand or whatever to imprint and basically control and manipulate your energy. So, yeah, the black cube is just really the ultimate central device that, as I said, carries the sins of man and the karma that enables them to do it. So that's really my comments on that, Will.
Yeah.
My comment, William, is that there's actually one in Monash University, I think in Melbourne. There's actually a black cube there. And so the way I work with black cube is to neutralize it. I just put a tetrahedron pyramid over it, because working with the black cube, you got to be mindful of it's got a lot of threads to it. And if you unravel one, it will create a domino effect in the spirit, in the astral realm for you. And so if you don't know what you're doing, it's better not to do anything. All you can do really is, my experience is that putting a protection of the tetrahedron pyramid over you, it actually neutralizes the effects of the control of the black cube in your mind, because it really is a minefield. And it creates that programming and, as Warren said, hypnotism in yourself. So coming away from the influence of the energy of it, what I do is do the tetrahedron pyramid over it and neutralizing its effects. And it seems to work, what I've been doing. And also, just be mindful when you actually deal with it. I actually try, I was doing a deep work myself the other night, and I was going to work on the black cube in a different sense, unthreading its threads, because it's so many multiple threads. But for some reason, the universe just stopped me from going in. And I actually grabbed my pendulum just to confirm that it didn't want me to deal with it. So 3 times I asked, is it in my highest good to do what I'm about to do with the black cube? And it kept saying no. So I listened to that for my own wellness. And I just continued to do the tetrahedron pyramid, neutralizing its effects, so that I'm able to discern in the mind what's going on. So and also it really grabs hold of your emotions as well. So not just your mind, it plays with the emotions. And so it's important to come to balance, bring yourself into symmetry, so that you're able to discern much clearer in where it's influence. So that's just what I want to say.
Yeah, well, thanks, Grace. And I mean, I certainly agree there. I mean, I also do that with the black cube. I like to put the bright white pyramid next to it. So thanks. Okay, so now everyone just focus on this code here and inhale this code into your auric field. And imagine it in your auric field. Close your eyes. Breathing in through the nose for 4 counts. Holding for 4 counts. And breathing out through the mouth for 8. And just breathing deeply, relaxing the mind. We now call upon the divine protection, the bright white pyramid surrounding all of us. We call in the 5 archangels, Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael, Michael, and Metatron. We also call in the Father, Son, Shekinah. So calling in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, calling them in. Only those who are aligned with the Word of God and with the Christ consciousness, and we clear and repel any false spirit guides or outside influences or anything related now. It is commanded by the laws of the golden liquid realms and alchemical powers that this higher clearing code be used to clear J-seals 1, 2, and 3. And also, we also clear we'll clear mind control implants, any around speaking the truth, any around money, or any implants around the sexual area, or any implants in the mind, or any other implants related around other areas of the body and the chakras and in the auric field. We remove all these first 3 J-seals and these mind control implants, and we also place the bright white pyramid, the light next to the black cube, neutralizing its damaging effects on each person here. We clear and remove all these implants from each person here and the first 3 J-seals, and I'm neutralizing the black cube now by the power of Christ's name and by his blood and the order of Enoch. To Asia in Tidoi. Scrambling those negative frequencies. Scrambling the fear around it. Pouring in the golden liquid light, bringing in the love, the strength. Clearing any soul fragments created from these implants. Clear the ids and bring in the golden soul fragments. Bringing up all emotions suppressed. Any emotions suppressed. Or anything hidden, we bring to the surface. Any traumas or negative experiences or anything related, we bring to the surface. Bring up any anger, rage, sadness, guilt, shame, unworthiness, low self-worth, or anything or any other emotions related. Bring them up and we scramble them. Scramble them into love and into high and into strength, into higher frequencies. Clearing negative thoughts and clearing the mind, bringing peace to the mind. Clearing the frequencies of the black cube. We replace these negative programming implants with the positive light implants. The light implants to accelerate each person here on their path and who they are. Helping them to access their powers, their talents, their abilities, and who they really are. clearing the programming, the conditioning. We provide a third order escort to escort any discarnates around to the astral planes justly earned now. Provide and any that resist, contain them and transport them to the astral planes justly earned now. Oh. We now clear the hardness of heart, the darkness lurking within each man and woman's heart here. Clear any darkness lurking or hardness. We break that fallow ground, breaking that fallow ground, clearing the bitterness and any unforgiveness or anger or sadness or any other emotions or anything related that they're holding on to. We release it. We open the heart, bring down the guards and the walls that they've put up as much as can be done right now. Bringing down those walls, the guards, opening the heart. Bringing in the love, the happiness, the liberation, the freedom, the strength of it, the compassion. Bringing in the golden liquid light, bringing in Christ. We now ask that Christ lay his hand on the hearts of each person here. removing the heaviness, and the weighing down, and bringing in the lightness, the relief. Releasing any energies from the heart and from other areas of the body and the aura. Releasing any energies picked up from other people and from the mass consciousness. Okay, so how's everyone feeling after that? Chris feeling really good. Awesome, Chris. Daniela awake. Yeah, I certainly feel awake from that. Sharon, good in Bunnings, but it still works. Yeah, that's good, Sharon. Sachi, lighter. Diana, sad emotions surfaced and now cleared. Yeah, wow, that's excellent. Diana. Miko, really clear. Sheldon had a slight head pain that went away, lots of yawning. Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot going for you then, Sheldon. Vic, a lot calmer within my heart area. Yeah, there's certainly a lot going on around the heart area. Irina, tired and sleepy, lightheaded, throat stuck. Yeah, that was certainly a deep and heavy clearing there. A lot was going on. Penny, still pain in shoulder going down, right arm, pain in front of heart cleared. Awesome. So the pain in the shoulder. So the main thing now, Penny, is to just allow it to clear. So sometimes it takes a bit longer. Suzanne, I brought up globals from way back in the past. Yeah, there was certainly a lot of skeletons coming out the closet just then. Penny, yep, it feels stubborn. Yeah, the main thing is to just trust that it's healed, Penny. Just have trust in God that it's healed. Famita, tingling in head. I was emotional at one point, and my heart now feels lighter. I'm now feeling peaceful and calm. Awesome, Famita. Alex was falling asleep when coming out. I could see a black cube in my third eye and was fading and getting further away in a pulse. Thanks, William. Awesome, Alex. Yeah, that's great, Alex. Sachi, some vibrational sensation from my head and down my spinal column. A vision of a dove in white light in my heart chakra. Oh gosh, that's pretty cool, Sachi. That's awesome. Patty, feeling good, much lighter. Awesome. Alex, yeah, feeling relaxed now. Yeah, great, Alex. So Warren and Grace, what did you guys feel or pick up during that?
Well, for me, William, there was a lot of breaking in the fallow ground in regards to the heart chakra, and I felt when you said about the bitterness and the anger and releasing of all those things, it just softens the heart, and so that was that's what I was getting, and particularly with the yellow in the center of this code, it's just beaming so bright and it's moving. It's really, really moving. Yeah, so Miko feels heart soft and open, yeah. So I felt that there was a portal opening up to the heart.
Yeah, there was a lot of grief and sadness coming out. That's what I was seeing. I don't know about you, Grace and William, but there was a lot of grief and sadness, especially the scarnets releasing, is what I was seeing in old implants and energies.
Yeah. A lot of it was planted in not just the mind, but also the heart and the emotions, and it went locked up in the cells. So releasing it just created that kind of domino effect. And it was unthreading. So it's interesting, the part of this code, as you can see, it's like for me, it's like a DNA hormone, chromosome kind of shape. And it was really touching the physiology of the body and releasing releasing all those emotions.
Yeah, well, thanks, Grace. And thanks, Warren. Yeah, there was certainly a lot going on there. And I mean, Warren, there certainly was a lot of guilt and a lot of grief coming up, wasn't there?
Oh, I just saw like old, like Grace says fallow ground. I just saw like old shadows and old energies, and like it's like the best way to describe it was like shadows or the scarnets or coming out of a dark realm, like a room of shame, you know, just coming up and floating out and being released. That's what I was seeing.
Yes, yeah, I saw that, and I saw the breaking of the fallow ground. I saw both of it happening. There was a lot, and all these implants were just flying out like no tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was seeing.
Yes. All right, wonderful. Well, thanks everyone. That was certainly an interesting clearing.
And well, you're saying our clearing course this Friday, aren't you?
It starts on Wednesday.
Oh, is it Wednesday? Is it? Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone's interested, William did a webinar on Friday, but he actually is going to be taking everyone through a thorough auric clearing. So if anyone's interested, and wants to register or whatever else, just type in the chat and then I'll just chuck the link in for you. So, because auric clearing is where you go into it's the foundational stuff, water mind control, implant stuff. So, if anyone's interested. Irene, you can always watch the replays afterwards. So, what time is it, Will?
11. It'll be 11 a.m. every Wednesday.
Yeah, 11 a.m. West Australian time, so 2 p.m. New South Wales. If you're working, you can always watch the replay afterwards. So, okay, Diana wants the link. Yep, here you go, Diana. If you're interested, it's just there. No, thank you, William. So, who enjoyed that, everyone? Who could feel the shift and changes and all that kind of stuff? Just type in the chat if you could really feel it and you noticed it. And yeah, Sheldon, Famita, definitely. Yeah, look, these things, you don't realise how real they are until they start clearing from you. And then you get some clear from you, then you get more clear from you, and then you get more, and you just find out. And when you think about it, I was actually saying this to someone just recently. Imagine if your whole life from when you were young, when you were born, and then before you were born, you lived those different lifetimes, you can almost just start to imagine how many you pick up. And I estimate when I had about 400 taken out of me over about a 9-month period, around 400, maybe a little bit more. It was just crazy. I got to the point where I thought, do I basically collect these like a hobby or something? But yeah, so it goes pretty deep. And the more I'm learning about this, the more I actually realize how much that there's actually this kind of experiment or some kind of attempt to keep people from ascending and getting out of this place. That's what I've concluded more and more, as crazy as it sounds. So
all right, wonderful. Well, thanks everyone. I really enjoyed today. I trust you all did. And I'll see you on the next show, on the next speaking. So I'll now hand back to you, Warren and Grace.
okay, Grace, anything to finish off with you want to bring in, or?
It's a great way to finish, actually, because drink lots of water, integrate it into yourself, and just feel the adjustment, and just be kind to yourself.
Yeah. I would agree. Well, thank you, everyone. Go and enjoy your day and have a relaxing weekend, and we'll see you all during the week and in our next energy clearing, which will either be tonight or tomorrow night, more likely tomorrow night. So I'll just let you know. So thanks, everyone, and have a great enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. See you, everyone.